Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Kansas for the first round of the Belly Up Sports Cup Series playoffs for the Kansas 200. My name is David Westergreen. I will be joined, as always, by Zach Evans, Carlos Acosta filling in for Dave Huckleberry on the producer side, and our race controls, Sam Boutwell and Dominic Wright, for 134 laps of action around the Kansas Speedway tonight. Zach, a exciting race, I think, especially a track that is beloved in real life, that puts on really great racing. Are you anticipating a similar race to what we would typically see in real life and the last couple times we've been to a mile-and-a-half track this season?
Well, we will see. Historically, Kansas, pretty clean racetrack for us here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. A combined 4 cautions between the last 2 races here, including one of those races actually being 250 miles instead of 200, a championship finale race a few seasons ago. However, the reports we have gotten from practice seem to indicate it could be a little bit more treacherous tonight, a little bit more difficult car than we're used to seeing at Kansas, a little bit more, I guess, aerodynamic effects at play. So we're going to find out. I'm not exactly sure what to expect from this one tonight, if I'm entirely honest.
It seems like the track is a little hotter than some of these drivers were anticipating, and therefore this next-gen car, which already doesn't have a whole lot of side force, is significantly more loose than it otherwise has been in prior iterations of this race at Kansas. We've seen these mile-and-a-halfs be very plowing tight for most of the season, and now we've shifted to a very, very loose conditioned car. So that will, I think, play a factor in how this race shakes out tonight. Obviously, the first round of the playoffs, we have 16 drivers. Carlos, I don't know if we have the playoff graphic or not, but I think with this group, you're going to look forward, there it is, to get set. Obviously, the names here on the left going to try to advance themselves to that next round after this first one. You got Road America and Talladega after this, and I'll look at the names in red. Those are the guys that need to move up. Green is the guys currently in. Zach, any favorite here before we get to the grid?
Boy, Kansas, I think your usual suspects are the guys you're going to have to watch, the guys that we're used to seeing run near the front of the field as we start making our way through the starting grid.
Yep, Chad Frankenfield on the 4D Raceware pole. You have Caleb Pecumer alongside him. Frank Fody and Scott Crump will line up in row 2. Blake Reynolds and Tyler Fody in row 3. Ethan Burrell and Garrison Hogan row 4. Then here's row 5 with Ty McIntosh and Ryan Gable. And then row 6 with Seth Rawls and Corey Abbott.
We look now at the 7th row. Daniel Gore will start alongside Gavin Hibbs in 13th and 14th. Rolling off from the 15th position, we have Jesse Racimus, and then Justin Wadsworth, former series champion, starting 16th. Ethan Stanley, Zach Novak, a pair of those Channel 199 cars, will roll off from the 9th row. And then in the 10th row, we have Harrison Talon, and David took a pretty decent little qualifying effort there for Mr. Talon. We'll see if he actually rolls off from the grid. Jaden Racimus will start in the 21st position. Kyle Hanshaw starting 22nd. Our 12th row on the grid, Dustin Dewar, will start alongside Justin Vandermark.
For that, it'll be bunch of letters. Paul Mikolajczyk alongside Gerald Campbell in row 13. Row 14 will consist of Josh Adams in the Shift Esports entry and Sean Judson for Covered Bridge Racing. After them, it'll be Jonathan Cutlip and Gilberto Javier for Fueled Up and Shift, respectively, here on row 15. Row 16 will be Trey Holmes and Michael Hosack. Row 17 is Michael Goodman and Brent Jones. Then rounding out the rest of this field, as we'll get to some of these guys who have end-of-line penalties, we have Kurt Gibson and Ray Bracey there, 35th and 36th. And then a couple of guys who did not get a lap down. Matthew Weeks, one of those. He'll start from the rear alongside Johnny Thomas. And then Mark Rabilas will roll off in 39th. EOL penalties for Zach Novak, Ty McIntosh, Ty, I think, was a voluntary EOL. Zach Novak was due to having no playoff banner on the car. So no tally penalties this week. Chad Frankenfield will lead us off, Zach.
He sure will. You see the orange banner on his car. That's one way you'll be able to denote the drivers in this field, other than, of course, Zach Novak, who are in our 16-car playoff grid.
Yep, and you'll also be able to see it on the ticker to the left side as we get ready to go green here for the Kansas 200. Pace car is off. Chad Frankenfield on the loud pedal. We are racing. From Kansas, Frankenfield with a really good start as Frank Fody and Caleb Pecumer line up side by side just behind. Great qualifying effort by both of those two cars, and they'll block the way in front of the championship contenders Blake Reynolds, Scott Crump, Tyler Fody, and Ethan Burrell.
And already you can see those cars dancing down the backstretch. I think that's what we were hearing a lot of. The cars are just not quite as gripped up, not quite as stable as we're used to seeing with this platform here at Kansas.
Gable to the outside of Garrison Hogan and Seth Rawls. Gable fresh off a win in last night's 2003 YTV 2003 series, and he's running that top lane trying to get everything he can here while the tires are fresh. 3 wide still between these playoff drivers, and Gable is going to triumph over Rawls. He's probably going to get Hogan. He might even get his teammate Tyler Fody into turn 3. Crump washes up the hill in front of Ryan Gable. Gable's up the hill in front of Gavin Hibbs. They sort it out.
Already lots of activity as you're describing it. We go on board here with Gavin Hibbs running in the 11th position, looking to get outside of Ryan Gable here going into turn 1.
3 wide right now, three top for Gavin Hibbs. We take a look to that left side. He's clear of both Seth Rawls and Ryan Gable. Now working to the outside of Garrison Hogan is Gavin Hibbs. Another one of our playoff drivers, despite the bad luck he had last week at Daytona. Up front, it is still Chad Frankenfield. Caleb Pecumer running in second. Blake Reynolds is third. Caution flag is out. It is, I believe this is, I said Trey Hill, is Kurt Gibson in the 88 car that has looped it in turn 3. The caution is out.
Little bit different look tonight for Mr. Gibson, but it is not off to a good start, it would appear.
New scheme, but tough luck, I would say, for Kurt Gibson. He falls to 37th on the grid. We'll see if we can't go back and take a look at what happened to bring that one out. On the Rebelist Photography replay. This is Chad Frankenfield up at the front of the field. Yep. The 88 car. There we go. Oh, I think there was some more going on before this.
Shouldn't be, I think, it shouldn't be too much damage. Hitting the apron might have hurt him more than the wall did. Just got loose.
Yeah, that car got real loose on corner entry. We talked about the track temp being pretty high up right now. Looking at it here, it is a firm 112 degrees, which is cooler than it was in practice, but it is still roaring hot at triple digits. And Kurt Gibson, obviously, with the loose condition, no real side force to speak of to save this race car, and he ultimately spins it out on the apron. Ty McIntosh does a really good job of slowing up for that after taking that EOL early in the race. And you'll see Johnny Thomas peel on the pit road right there. He has retired the 83 car for the evening.
I was about to say, I don't know if that's going to be a winning strategy, but I guess if the strategy was leave the racetrack, that's the quickest way to the tunnel for sure.
Yeah, Johnny is, I believe, making some starting parks here down the stretch. I think he's running into some busy real-life activities, and that's taken away from his availability on Wednesday nights, but he wants to keep that charter for next season. So looking at the running order here for us as we pace around here for the first time under caution, we do have race leader Chad Frankenfield. He's led all of them so far. Caleb Pecumer sitting in second. Hey, really good qualifying effort for Caleb Pecumer and Frank Fody there. Those guys put together some very strong runs under that Lake Norman and South Shore stable. So Pecumer has been able to hold that second spot. Blake Reynolds climbed to third. Ethan Burrell climbed to fourth. Frank Fody dropped to fifth after those first couple of laps.
I feel like we've been talking about him a lot these past couple of weeks, Caleb Pecumer, and Frank Fody joining the fun here this time. When Frank spent some time near the front of the field 1 week ago at Daytona as well. Obviously, Kansas a very different kettle of fish, but good to see those guys up front.
I got the message I received regarding that was we don't know what's going on. So they're just having a really good set of laps here, and maybe the track's fallen into their favor as we look through the rest of the top 10. It's obviously Tyler Fode, Garrison Hogan, Scott Crump, Seth Rawls, and Gavin Hibbs that round out that top 10. Welcome back, Jesse Racimus there in 11th after being in the penalty box for a few weeks. He is back in the 80 car, Fueled Up Racing. And he'll be alongside Ryan Gable for that 12th spot as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here from Kansas. Chad jumped pretty early in the zone last time, got a really big jump. Let's see if he's able to make the same maneuver with Blake Reynolds behind him this time. Pace car down pit road, Chad Frankenfield into the restart zone. We are racing once again at Kansas. Lap 6 coming to 7. Chad Frankenfield does get an excellent restart and is able to get clear of Caleb Pacumer and get into that clean air that we talk about so much with this next gen car. The battle is for second between Pacumer and Reynolds.
I mean, look at this shot. 2 and 3 wide all the way down to backstretch with this field of competitors on the restart.
Yep, Tyler Fode split Ethan Burrell and Frank Fode, his dad. No family assistance this time as Jesse Racimus wiggles and falls out of this pack. It'll be Fode up to 4th here, Burrell back to 5th. Frank Fode on the bottom of the racetrack trying to just hold serve right now as these guys come roaring by on the outside. Scott Crump also lost a couple of spots on this restart. He's back to 10th. Here comes Justin Wadsworth to the inside down the back straightaway.
Wadsworth looking all over the racetrack trying to find a way around Scott Crump. He'll settle in behind him for now. Crump getting a pretty good run through 3 and 4. He'll close in some on Seth Rawls here this time, but here comes Wadsworth all the way to the edge of the grass.
You like that Kansas has no out of bounds. You can run all the way down on that flat area on the front straightaway. You don't want to do that basically anywhere else on the racetrack, but because you need to kind of cut down the tri-oval, you can definitely run the apron there. Here at Kansas as Blake Reynolds dives underneath Chad Frankenfield going for the race lead in that 66 car. He will get it. Blake Reynolds, championship contender, bypasses his fellow playoff driver Chad Frankenfield and makes it up to the race lead. Caleb Pacumer closing in now on Frankenfield for the 2nd spot.
And now he will look to the inside of Frankenfield going through turns 1 and 2. Frankenfield running right along that upper seam. Wiggles just a little bit, but keeps it out of the fence, keeps that momentum up, and pulls back in front of Caleb Pacumer for that 2nd spot.
Caleb working that outside lane. Tyler Fode just behind in those 2 Lake Norman Chevys working together here behind Chad Frankenfield. Onboard shot here as we watch Pacumer trying to close in on the back bumper of Chad Frankenfield for the 2nd spot. We'll go with that 3x TV multi-cam. This is something that Carlos is able to do that I really do like. We are able to focus on a couple of different battles on the racetrack. Up top, you've got the Frank Fode battle with Scott Crump, David Tooker, around 13th, 14th, 15th on the racetrack. Down on the bottom, it's the battle for the race lead between Blake Reynolds and Chad Frankenfield. How about a couple of guys that are up in that one battle up to the top of the screen? You've got Ethan Stanley well back in the field, did not qualify particularly well. Just Jonathan Cutlip is back in the field, did not qualify particularly well either. Here's Stanley way up on the outside, 3 wide around the outside of Frank Fode and Jaden Racimus rather, and he'll make that pass, pick up 2 positions, but Ethan Stanley still back in 12th spot.
Here's a big move down to the apron. Oh, who's that? Somebody's off the pace there. It looked like maybe Hanshaw. Oh,
no!
Goodness! No! What happened there?
Kyle Hanshaw had a moment and ended up back on the racetrack in the running area right in front of Ty McIntosh.
Oh, gosh.
Second caution flag of the race, lap 13. We will take a look on that Rebel Ass Photography replay to see what got Kyle Hanshaw out of shape if we can, because I think that was going to be the big key, but ultimately the yellow flag comes out in part because of that contact between Ty and Hanshaw. I mean, look, he's way out of the running order here, and I don't know, he's kind of along for the ride at this point.
Yeah, it seemed like whatever happened, it seemed to happen very late in the trial. I don't know if we can rewind that a little bit further and see exactly what got him initially out of control.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, just got loose.
Yeah, just got loose there on the flat. That's the danger of running the flat, right? You don't have the banking to lean on, and then he's on the brakes trying to get woed up, trying to even weave it back and forth to scrub off some speed, like you see them do in NHRA when they're trying to put out a fire and get the car to a stop, and just nothing was working. And ultimately he ends up back on the racetrack. Did he clip a little bit of the grass? Looked like from betting he might have clipped the grass, and then trying to get stopped, it just could not, right in the path of Ty McIntosh.
Marker Bylis also picked up a bunch of damage. He has retired the 96 car from the event for the evening, and Hanshaw does get the tally from Sam Boutwell and Dominic Wright over in race control. I think that's the correct call, ultimately, unfortunately, for Hanshaw in that 46 car.
And one thing I noticed from the onboard, like I thought he was scrubbing, trying to weave back and forth to scrub, but it looked like from the onboard he had it hooked to the left the whole time, trying to keep it off the apron, and just the car was wobbling despite his input, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how reliable our replays of the iRacing inputs are.
No, that's fair.
I think I've heard. Fair. Yeah, I think I've heard that you don't get the accurate replay. So whatever he was doing in the car may not have been reflected by the onboard shot there, but
we do have time.
Ultimately, that caution does go. So let's talk to Ty. Ty, pretty much one of the drivers who always wants to jump in and get a word with the broadcast. We'll be happy to bring him in right now and ask him what happened, because Ty, you didn't get to race long tonight, buddy. Take us through what you saw after getting into the 46 car there.
I don't know. I thought with how out of control he was, he would have smartened up and not tried to save it 75 times, but I guess when the first 6 aren't good enough, you're going to put it on the racetrack, and then I guess he realized he was going to be on the racetrack, so he slammed the brakes in front of cars going 180 miles an hour, and I, of course, can do nothing. So, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. This has just been my season and how it's gone, and it doesn't matter what I do. I can't put myself in the right spot. I took an EOL to avoid the wrecks, and somebody spins in front of me, and then this happens. So I don't know. It is what it is at this point. Really just think about hanging it up at this point. It's just not fun anymore.
Gotcha, buddy. Any shout-outs for us here before we send you off tonight?
Everybody on the car through ITV. Carlos producing this one made me want to do it a little bit better for him, but I couldn't. Obviously, Elite Racing Network, everything that they do. You guys for commentating. Everybody that's on the car, Weekend Woodsman, Banks, Danny for trying to do a good playoff run there. I'm hoping he can do all right, but yeah, no, just frustrated.
Sounds good, buddy. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week anyway, and hate that it happened like that, man, because it's no fun.
Yeah, never is.
Ty McIntosh, driver of that 10 car that was involved in our previous incident with Kyle Hanshaw there. That'll wrap up this second yellow flag of the race. Blake Reynolds still the race leader. He'll be bringing us down here as the pace car drops off the banking, and we'll see what happens with Blake Reynolds out front, Chad Frankenfield alongside Caleb Pecumer and Tyler Fody there in row 2. Green flag is back out. Reynolds on the loud pedal gets a nice restart as the race leader. Frankenfield and Fody trying to draft forward on the outside lane, and Tyler Fody trying to really jump up here and try and get some of that track position around his teammate Caleb Pecumer on the bottom of the racetrack, and Chad Frankenfield right in front.
Chad really tossing it down to the inside there, trying to find some pace, trying to get alongside Blake Reynolds. Reynolds is probably going to have the momentum, though, running that higher line, but Chad's able to get at least far enough alongside to make Reynolds leave him some space, or maybe not. Okay.
Little contact. Contact between Chad Frankenfield and Blake Reynolds. Reynolds goes up the track, kind of runs that outside lane up next to the wall. That's that preferred lane normally, but I don't know if that's going to be the preferred lane all race tonight as Frankenfield drives to the inside. Reynolds up top. I think Chad's going to clear him right here. Oh,
Chad
yep.
thinks he's going to clear him. Chad's wrong. You're wrong.
Chad Frankenfield, Blake Reynolds side by side for the race lead. Becumer and Fody side by side for second.
Maybe he's got him this time. Yep.
He does. Becumer clears Tyler Fody for third. Caleb Becumer having a really strong run in the early going here. Garrison Hogan is up to fifth. Gavin Hibbs up to sixth, just behind them. Both of those cars started out, well, Gavin Hibbs and Justin Wadsworth, the two cars, started well outside the top 10. They are already up fighting for that top 5 running spot right now in the 95 and the 55 and the 6 car there as well. All three of those cars really moving forward early. Cars that are sliding back, Frank Fody, obviously one that we discussed, qualified 30s, well back in the field right now in that light blue car. Another one that's fallen back early is Scott Crump, a 2-time winner this season, started 4th. He's back in 9th.
Running in 9th under pressure from David Tooker while watching the side-by-side battle in front of him between Seth Rawls and Justin Wadsworth. Ethan Stanley's got to get in the mix of this too.
And Stanley up to the outside, next to the outside wall around David Tooker. Car on the wall, it's Jesse Racimus. Might have been some contact with Josh Adams there between the 80 and the 22. Racimus' car definitely slowed up here on the outside. I don't know that it's too poor speed right now as Matthew Weeks is the car working by. There's definitely damage on the right front of the 80 of Jesse Racimus. Tightening up the car might not be too bad in this, the way this is handling, but well, you never know.
I don't know. Loose is fast, baby.
That's absolutely right. As we jump back up to the front of the field into the 3xTV multicam, Blake Reynolds holding the lead over Chad Frankenfield, but Chad putting some pressure on him. Danny Gores sideways through the grass. He saves it. That might be the only incident, but Gore is going to lose some spots there. Fresh new paint scheme from Ray Bracey, and we're 20 laps in, and already all three of the 4 South Shore cars have had trouble.
That's
Gilly's
the first
gonna get a piece of
one.
Danny. I'm surprised that brought out a yellow flag. Obviously, the 69 did get sideways, but we've seen that incident happen a couple of times. Not bring out a yellow. We didn't get a chance to mention it. A number of drivers did come down pit road the last time under yellow, potentially strap on tires, at the very least put some more fuel in the car. Daniel Gore was one of those cars. So he sacrificed, I think, 16th to come down pit road. That put him a little bit further back in the field. And now he's going to be even further back.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how much help those tires are going to be now, and certainly the track position is worse than it already was.
Did not work out for Daniel Gore. Look from the blimp. See what they call. I mean, from that shot, it looked like Gore was coming down as Gilly came up, but all the other shots had Gilly kind of getting a little bit loose and correcting back to the right.
It's got to be a tough one for sure, because I think it's certainly from Daniel's perspective, he's coming down because he's expecting Gilberto to get closer to the white line. Even if he's not going to go below it, he's certainly expecting to at least go down to it, which he doesn't have to. There's no gun to his head that says he has to run the bottom, but certainly that's probably what Daniel Gore was expecting there as he was turning left.
We will get the racing incident, yeah. Just about what we were describing, effectively, whether or not that contact was going to get made. I mean, I would see blame on both parties, but at that point, if you don't have a firm grasp on it, after a couple of iterations of replay, best logic is to just call it a racing deal and move on.
Yep.
It's like not very many cars came down pit road this time. One of the cars that did pit was Ethan Burrell in the 37 car. He has avoided a spot in the top 10 to come get fresh tires, but that has resulted in him losing significant track position back to 16th.
Gentlemen, how about I go ahead and give you guys a very quick ad.
Do it.
Sure.
I want to thank our Premier Series sponsors. Without them, we couldn't be getting any of these done out here. We do have one screen, but I'll make this quick. Let's start off with Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Guys, take it away.
We are back. Thank you to Blue Egg, as always, for their continued partnership. Re-racking the field here, Blake Reynolds continues to lead this race after passing Chad Frankenfield a couple of runs ago. Frankenfield still sitting in second, Caleb Pecumer third, Tyler Fody in fourth. You've got Garrison Hogan running fifth, Gavin Hibbs sixth, Justin Wadsworth seventh, Seth Rawls eighth, Scott Crump ninth, and Ethan Stanley 10th on this restart. Last time, Chad Frankenfield was really able to get after Blake Reynolds on the first couple of laps after the run and stayed very close to this 66 car. Let's see what happens on this restart. The pace car is off. Reynolds into that restart zone and gets going early in the zone. Frankenfield sleeping just a little bit, but the last time that worked out well for Chad Frankenfield as he was able to run up there and get a good draft off of that 66 of Reynolds. This time, though, Caleb Pecumer's to the inside of Frankenfield. No run for this 15. He's going to have to fend off the 59.
And so far, what we've seen, it doesn't seem to matter if you fire early or late in that box. The leader just has such a huge advantage.
Oh no! Chad wrecking! Chad Frankenfield into the outside wall. Hibbs and Rawls sideways. Burrell with a big hit. A bunch of playoff drivers involved. They're still crashing here in turn 3. Ethan Burrell with big damage. Chad Frankenfield with big damage. Michael Hosack got damaged. Jaden Racimus absorbed a hit as well. The yellow flag is out for the 4th time in this race, and it was contact at the front of the field between Frankenfield and Pecumer. I feel like we've seen contact from those two cars before this season.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens on the replay. I know one thing I was thinking about coming into the night was, as tight as this playoff field is, knowing Talladega's on the horizon, you could not afford a bad night tonight and dig yourself a hole. We'll take a look here on the Revelist Photography replay machine.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a hard time blaming Caleb Pecumer for that.
I do too. Caleb looks like he was firmly inside of the 15 car down the back straightaway. Get another look at it here. I mean, they're both turning into the corner, but
Caleb's turning in too. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of those things that you did just mention when we talked about the last wreck, was that you don't have to go down to the white line. Like, Caleb does not have to run the bottom. He can still run the middle. He's fully firmly inside of the 15 car. And then, I mean, there's a lot of big hits here. If we can watch Seth Rawls and Gavin Hibbs to see if those cars ended up with big damage. I think Rawls got damage, but that car may not be totaled. Hibbs looks like he's still in the top 5. The save by Gavin Hibbs might be a playoff continuing save here. Look how sideways this 95 is. He's going to straighten that thing out. That is an incredible piece of driving. Hosack gets the wall. I think Michael Goodman got a piece of the wall as well. Rawls is going to get out of this without too much damage. He'll lose track position, and he'll have to pit for some of that repair, but it could have been a lot worse for last week's winner.
When I saw Rawls and Hibbs sideways, I assumed when we got to look at the big picture, we were going to see 10 or 15 cars involved the way they were sideways in front of the pack, and really surprised to see it did not get a lot worse than it did.
Yeah, Gavin Hibbs being able to straighten this car out, it probably saved Jonathan Cutlip on top of a couple of other cars down there, because you see Hibbs straighten it out. Everybody who's on the apron right there could well have been taken out if Hibbs was not able to hang on to that race car.
If Hibbs collects somebody like Cutlip and takes away that escape route that a lot of people used on the apron there, we're talking a very different scenario.
A wild wreck. We never got any tally call yet, and I'm sure there's some discussion going on regarding the drivers involved, but we'll see what Sam Boutwell and Dominic Wright do have to say about that one. I think I could see Racing Deal, right, going into the corner, a little contact. I would say there's no way it's Caleb Bakumer there. I don't believe that. I don't believe that he moved up the track to initiate contact there. If anything, that's just two cars bouncing off each other entering the corner. One thing that we do need to mention before we get closer to it is that a stage point will be awarded for the race leader at the end of lap 45, as we do get tally 15.
Tally 15.
It's behind the race recap there, but it will be Chad Frankenfield for moving down on corner entry across the nose of Caleb Bakumer. And I mean, we were talking about it. I think we're in agreement with that call. It just there's the driver underneath when you are fully alongside is entitled to space down there. There's a lot of space up in the top groove here at Kansas. You can run up there. So Caleb Bakumer will restart in second behind Blake Reynolds, Tyler Fode and Garrison Hogan behind them. Then it's Justin Wadsworth and Gavin Hibbs. Pace car back off after a fourth caution. Green flag is out for Blake Reynolds once again. A good restart for the 66. The leader drives away yet again. Into turn one, Fode and Bakumer will be side by side for second, and then it'll be Hogan and Wadsworth. Oh, Caleb a little loose. That's going to give Tyler Fode the run to the inside. Here comes Tyler Fode to the outside of Blake Reynolds. Fode working the outside lane around Reynolds. Going to try to pin him down. Those two cars have raced side by side a lot this season. Behind them, Wadsworth is going to get clear of Caleb Bakumer for third. So a really heroic drive by Justin Wadsworth up into the top five after starting well back in the field in 16th.
Still side by side for the lead. I think Fode led that last time by, but we'll see Blake Reynolds still holding tough on the inside here.
Blake Reynolds trying to clear past Tyler Fode on that bottom lane. He will do so on the front straightaway this time. So Fode grabs a point for leading a lap there, but he'll cross Blake Reynolds over. Reynolds has the outside lane now. Fode down to the bottom. Justin Wadsworth bearing down on the two race leaders. It will be Tyler Fode clearing into turn one. He moves up, dumps the dirty air on the front bumper of Blake Reynolds and gets very loose. Oh, Ryan Gable loose and out of shape on the bottom of the racetrack as well. I think 01 was able to save it. Blake Reynolds is in the wall in turn three.
That's going to allow Wadsworth to, well, wow. I don't know how Blake Reynolds got that kind of run out of turn four.
4 wide.
Oh, that's 4 wide.
4 wide, Zach Novak down to the bottoms. Novak took that EOL to start this race. He is starting to work his way into the picture in the 42 car. And you have to believe these drivers were hoping that all that early chaos would knock this 42 car back a little bit, but he's been able to clear through all of those wrecks and move up into this 10th spot. And he's certainly a contender for the race win here.
I mean, we, as in this broadcasting booth, hasn't had many opportunities to talk about Zach Novak in about a month. He pretty much went into start and park mode while focusing on that Coke Series championship. But let's not forget, he picked up a couple of wins very early in the season, kept up enough points to stay in this playoff grid, even with missing a couple of races, a couple of events. No surprise to see him working his way towards the front of the field.
In the races he won were Darlington and Texas, and in Texas specifically, right, of the 1.5 mile variety, a track that I'd expect Zach Novak to be pretty strong in. As Tyler Fode continues to lead, 10 laps to go in this stage. And, thinking about the point situation, obviously with Ethan Burrell down and out of this race in 34th. Oh, Ethan Stanley around. That will not draw a yellow flag yet. Everybody is still clean and green. Yeah, Stanley spins it out of, he was in the top 10. Stanley spun out of 6th place.
That's wild. From our Las Vegas winner, no less.
Yep, from the guy, one of the guys who you'd probably have deemed a favorite here coming into this Kansas race. Ethan Stanley goes around. This looseness of this next-gen car right now is just difficult to hang on to.
A little
Look, he's
bobble.
wiggling before the corner there, and that he didn't go piling into the inside wall is probably a blessing there.
Seriously. I think he let go of the brakes at the exact right point. I know we always talk about hold the brake, but if he held the brake there, he noses into the wall. That was about as well as that can go.
8 laps to go in this stage for Tyler Fode. Ethan Stanley will not be getting stage points. And just as I was about to mention that 9 of our first 10 drivers are playoff drivers here that are going to be picking up those playoff points, and you'll have to look down the running order to find a few of the others. One of those will now be Ethan Stanley as he yields playoff points over to David Tooker now. Chad Frankenfield, one of those as we flip to him. He obviously was involved in that earlier wreck. Ethan Burrell was involved in that wreck. He had enough damage to have retired the 37 car for the race. So a couple of guys that will definitely be in a big time hole going into next week at Road America. Daniel Gore's also had trouble. That's one of our playoff drivers. He's not going to be in the top 10 to get these stage points either. So several guys, we're kind of identifying those drivers who are going to be in desperation mode come next week at Road America and then at Talladega in 2 weeks' time.
And the tough part with that, especially in this round, right? Like, unless you're one of our road course experts, it's going to be hard to make up a lot of points on some of these playoff guys who fit that description. And so then at that point, you're just kind of at the mercies of the super speedway race, right? So, I mean, sure, even if you like that platform, that style of racing, then sure, you can just go out and win that race. Great, but there's 40 other people that circled that date on the calendar thinking it's their best chance to win a race.
Yeah, and super speedway racing, if I've learned one thing about the way we've raced the last couple of races there, both in this series and in the other elite series that have run Talladega lately, you can be in the right position in the right time and still not have it go your way. So it takes a lot to win at a Talladega. You can't be leaning back on that as we continue to watch this battle between Scott Crump and Garrison Hogan for the 6th position here on those playoff points. Zach Novak right in behind them in 8th in that 42 car. Gavin Hibbs kind of trying to hang on after sliding all 4 of those tires to go out and get 5th place stage points. That would be a remarkable drive for this 95 car.
Oh, absolutely. We know how easy it can be to overdo these tires, and the fact that Gavin Hibbs has held up here as well as he has is really, really impressive. We will see where he comes out here in about 3 laps time this time around the line. But
yeah, he's trying to hang on. I think this 95 car, the handling is definitely going away on it. It's definitely in worse shape than it was. Oh no! And Zach Novak and Hibbs around on the bottom of the racetrack. Novak hard in the inside wall. Hibbs around as well. That'll probably draw the yellow from race control. They have a couple laps to throw it for a multi-car. Do they not?
They've been scolded.
They have? Okay, well, that seems like a good spot for a yellow.
I agree, but they've been told
here.
no.
All right, well, throw that one to there you go.
Yep.
Apologies over the radio from Gavin Hibbs to Zach Novak. Novak has accepted said apology, understandable. The 95 gets loose. We just were talking about it, and both of those cars hard into the inside wall as we get towards the end of the stage. There will be no caution flag here at the end of the stage. Here's the replay. The 95 just got loose. And
yeah. Seems like a good argument for it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Well, we can't possibly have logical decisions being made by our very smart race controls that are always good here and watching the field. But last lap in stage number 1 of 2, Tyler Fode is going to win this stage, pick up a playoff point, grab 10 extra bonus points towards his advancement in this playoff format. Blake Reynolds, Justin Wadsworth, Caleb Pecumer roll across the line. Then Scott Crump, Matthew Weeks with 6th place stage points despite starting 37th. What an impressive drive for him. Jonathan Cutlip, Garrison Hogan, David Tooker, and Paul Mikolajczyk will all pick up points here at this 45 lap mark. And now we'll focus on the end of the race, but the end of the race will not include Gavin Hibbs, Zach Novak, Ethan Burrell, several other playoff drivers. A lot of guys have already had some trouble tonight.
definitely a big turn in these playoff developments. We'll see what those drivers can do at Road America. There you see this rear damage penalty tally for Gavin Hibbs, who is still on track, but obviously has lost a lot of ground.
Yeah, and has damage on this 95 car as well. And that's, you know, you have to award the blame for something for that, right? That's an understandable tally. Unfortunate, of course, but part of this package, part of trying to stay out there with, you know, 4 slid tires. You know, one wonders maybe he should have forfeited those 4 or 5 stage points and tried to strap 4 tires on it, but it's too late to think about all that now. Now you just have to hope for a yellow flag. Tyler Fode, Blake Reynolds, Justin Wadsworth, the top 3 still, as we take a quick look at the fastest lap of the race. It looks like
is that a
looks
tie?
like we have a tie. Yeah, I think Wadsworth has a 7, Reynolds has an 8.
Huh.
It's probably it would probably go to Wadsworth right now. Matthew Weeks up into 4th too. That car is flying. Or he's not 4th yet, but he's on his way. He's right on Caleb Akuma's rear end.
And, you know, it's not something we saw really come into play in the real world, but as tight as the competition is in this playoff field, I could totally envision a universe where one of those fastest lap bonus points makes the difference for a guy moving on from the round of 16 to the round of 10 or something like that.
Right. I could see it. I could for sure see it. If we look back on the Ryan Gable and Daniel Gore gap last week, I believe it was 4 points to get into the playoff. So to me, that kind of indicates, yeah, you need to pick up every point you can. And obviously, that was on Gavin Hibbs' mind. I think there when he stays out on those. Caleb Akumer's loose on the back straightaway. 59 cars sideways on the apron. He's sliding. Out of 4th place goes Pacumer. He will save it.
Man.
A really strong early run for Caleb Pacumer. He was holding his own against these guys and just made a small mistake coming out of turn 2 last time by. And got loose, got wiggly, and around he went.
And obviously we've talked about it a lot, but the run he was having tonight, just upset there so late in the corner there too. He would have never expected that to happen.
On the gas, you're
Yeah.
You're fully on the gas at that point, trying to get off the corner with as much ground as you can. And even with the rear tires wearing like they are, you're not expecting
No.
to get loose and snap around like that. And that's a product of this next gen car.
And it's not like a situation where sometimes you see that if like you're closing in on the wall, so you give it some extra wheel to try and keep you off the wall. He wasn't even that close to the wall. He had to have the wheel pretty straight at that point, I would think.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Caleb Pacumer. He falls deep in the field now to 28th place, drops in behind Frank Fode and a couple of others. He's still in front of Ethan Stanley, another car who's gone around in this very race. Gavin Hibbs, obviously, another one who's now a lap down in the 95 car.
You can definitely tell. If we thought Gavin Hibbs' car was handling poorly earlier, it is really, really struggling now.
Yeah, he's trying to do everything he can to stay probably 1 lap down here through a potential pit cycle coming up, and also to probably try not to be the caution flag would be my other goal here if I'm in that 95 right now.
Absolutely, and it seems like, at least in his estimation, and I think mine as well, the best way to do that is to just stay up high, let everybody use as much racetrack as possible below him, and hope for the best.
He's doing a good job of staying out of the way, as we watched on board with David Toker, looking back at Paul Mikulayshik, a couple of guys in the playoff. I don't know that we've talked about either of them a whole lot this season. Obviously, Mikulayshik with second last week almost had that race won. If his teammates, I think, don't get crashed, he has a real good chance to win it coming off turn 4. But David Toker really has just put together a bunch of solid runs kind of quietly, and now he's in the playoff. Now he's one of those guys early on that hasn't had that trouble. And that's, just one race of no trouble in a 10. If you're taking 10 drivers the next round, that might be all you need.
Oh, absolutely. Because David Ticker's one of those guys, even if he's not necessarily in the mix for the win, he's probably going to have a decent enough run at Road America to not lose points there. It's just a matter of, okay, can you keep it clean at Talladega? Now, a lot of times that's out of your control, but it will make the math a lot easier if he can get through these first 2 weeks.
This first one is this is the most important race of the round, because we have a very good understanding of the road courses, right? We know who's going to be good there. They typically run green, and the speed typically prevails. It's hard to kind of finagle a fake finish in a road course, if you will. That's why I always struggle with finishing well at the road courses, because you can't fake speed, right? At a road course, you have to be fast, you have to be strong. But Talladega, it's out of your control. Like you mentioned, right? You can go out there and do everything right and finish 25th because you wrecked on the last lap. That's not what some of these guys want, I'm sure, but that's just the racing that they're all going to have to do. And it was the thing that was brought up to me when we talked about the package that we ran last night. It was, well, everybody's going to run the package. So in that case, it's the same with this, right? Obviously, everybody's going to be running at Talladega in 2 weeks' time. So you move on or you don't, but the race you can control is this one right here. And we've already seen a whole lot of guys have issues tonight.
One thing that's surprising me as we get further and further into this green flag run, I know Kansas is a little bit friendlier than a lot of our 1.5 mile triovals when it comes to this right here, the move to the apron. But this long into the run, that we're not seeing that cause more problems and that we're not seeing guys avoid it entirely is really surprising to me. Because normally as you get later into the run and the tires get more worn out, that gets really, really tricky.
I like running the apron if I can, if there's grip down there, but you're right. If I ever feel a wiggle in my car, whenever I drop to the apron here, we'll check it out with Justin Wadsworth and Matthew Weeks, both running the apron here on the front straightaway.
All of these front groups are.
It seems like it's got some grip to it, right? When you make that transition, it's not like maybe the Phoenix dog leg where you drop that banking, and when you do, it loosens that car up sometimes. Here on iRacing, I think we're fine in that case. Looks like we are having a slight scoring bug issue. We'll get that corrected as soon as possible. But for now, it's still Tyler Fode ahead of Blake Reynolds, Matthew Weeks, Justin Wadsworth, and Jonathan Cutlip in the top 5. Not missing anything there. And with regards to the pit stop, I think we're coming up on green flag stop, Zach.
I was told there would be no math.
Be tough to see, and obviously I think some of those guys that did make it down pit road through all of those yellow flags may have a bit of an advantage going forward. Obviously, you'll have to figure out exactly how to get to, I guess it'd be 67 laps. So if these guys can make 67, they'll probably be okay. But we're not there yet.
We're not. A few laps shy of that halfway mark.
Fode still a commanding 1 second race lead over Blake Reynolds, but Matthew Weeks has absolutely been on the charge. I'm assuming he spun out in qualifying. Did Matthew Weeks? He's done that a couple of times this season where he's just botched it on that run up lap to the line and kind of cost himself both laps in qualifying, where he didn't even set a time in, and has taken that to a good finishes before. The Blue Jays are in the World Series. Unfortunate for Ethan Burrell's Mariners. I was hoping they would be able to sneak by, but unfortunately not. But Matthew Weeks has been able to make this run to the front a couple of times this season without the qualifying effort. And today, he looks very quick. He looks like about the only car that could challenge Tyler Fode right now. Thinking of
comparison, 31.6 for Matthew Weeks last time, 31.5 for Tyler Fode.
And consider Matthew Weeks is running in the the dirty air wake of the Blake Reynolds machine right now, which has been continually doing that. Basically, he's been a little bit tight on corner exit in turn 4, and that's, I think, costing him time to Tyler Fode. Matthew Weeks is right at the same lap time as the race leader, despite running in the wake of another car in this next. Oh, that's not gonna help it.
No, I don't recommend that.
Fode holding out front right now. Reynolds maybe gaining just a little bit back, maybe turning up the heat in that 66 car as we start to approach green flag pit stops. Lap 67 on the board now, and Zach, that'll be halfway. So theoretically, we did have 4 cautions early in the race. Those will help these guys save a little bit of fuel, but you probably can make it from here.
Six, 7.
Put it in the chat. That's all I ask. Give us the comments.
Now here's somebody we haven't talked about a ton tonight. Well, really both of these guys. Scott Crump was near the front, kind of fell back. Now he's settled into 6th, but Garrison Hogan on the move.
So Hogan fell back there right at the stage marker. I think he was almost in danger, as he's real loose there in turn 4. He was almost in danger of missing out on the stage points, and then the chaos in front of him that took out Zach Novak and Gavin Hibbs opened it up to get it. I think he got 8th place stage points there, and he's up to 7th, working forward as there's a battle for 2nd going on right now. Matthew Weeks just got a piece of the wall, trying to go for 2nd around Blake Reynolds, and there's right front damage now on this 11 car.
Oh man, and I mean, we've seen what an impact that can have on the handling of these cars. We'll take a look at the replay here.
It's the same thing, I think, that happened with Gavin Hibbs, and Weeks was at least able to correct it back to the outside wall where he didn't collect another one of those Channel 199 cars, but we've seen that from now Matthew Weeks, Ethan Stanley, Gavin Hibbs, Caleb Bakumer, just a bunch of cars that have all been running up in the top group here, and ultimately have gotten loose on that exit of the 2nd corner, and that's resulted in a significant amount of chaos in this race.
And I mean, the hardest part for me trying to figure out, is there a common denominator? He was much higher than Caleb Bakumer was. Neither of them were particularly close to that seam, that dark area you see that can sometimes cause handling issues. I can't make heads or tails of why we're seeing this in particular at that spot of the racetrack.
Or can I? I'm trying to look for something. Blake Reynolds is heading down pit road right now. He will kick off green flag stops. Did Tyler Fode get to pit road speed?
That was a lot of tire smoke.
Oh, no.
I'm
seeing no black flag for Tyler Fode.
Okay.
Yeah, Fode and Reynolds both are clean. No black flag for either. Both are headed down pit road. Justin Wadsworth takes over the race lead here at lap 72. Both Reynolds and Fode made it into the box pretty cleanly. David Tooker down pit road. Ethan Stanley heads for pit road. Caleb Bakumer heads for pit road as well.
There you see Tyler Fode making his way out of the pits. So too will Blake Reynolds.
Wadsworth with the race lead. Dusty Dewar heads down pit road. Dewar pitting from 15th. He is having a really strong run in that 32 car. Overshoots the pit box.
Yeah.
That's not too costly.
He recovered well.
Not too costly for old 32 car. Watching Daniel Gore here. I think Gore is sitting back in 16th right now. He has more fuel. He's one of those cars with the ability to go long on this run, and I think he must do so.
I think if you have the opportunity and you already work really in the mix, do something different. 100%. Run it dry. Give yourself those freshest tires at the end of the race. Who knows? Maybe you catch a caution here in the middle of this cycle.
Justin Wadsworth, Jonathan Cutlip on pit road. Matthew Weeks, Ryan Gable will stay out. Other cars coming in. Garrison Hogan, Scott Crump down pit road. Corey Abbott hits pit road. Jonathan Cutlip overshot it. He recovered quite nicely, almost shifted straight into reverse, as if he was planning on missing the marker there. Taking a quick look at lap time, just as a note, Tyler Fode is now running at 30.6. Matthew Weeks' last time by was 31.8. So Tyler Fode is definitely going to get a significant amount of ground on the guys that are staying out on the undercuts, but they will be able to gain some of that ground back once they hit pit road with fresher tires. That's certainly the call for Matthew Weeks, as we've got Gilberto on pit road. Actually, he's coming off pit road right now. Let's see if Weeks drops down this time by. Ethan Stanley sets the fastest lap. Now that's from well back in the field, 30th place, one lap down after Stanley spun out and did not get a yellow flag for it.
But the point, though.
And look at the difference there you see in the top picture. Justin Wadsworth going around Harrison Talon. That's the difference of new tires versus old tires.
Gilberto heading down pit road again. Gavin Hibbs is definitely one of is definitely a car that I would have thought would have pitted earlier, maybe been the first car on pit road. I'm a little surprised it took him as long as it did to hit pit road in the 95. But yes, there's a significant tire difference and tire advantage here at Kansas. Tyler Fode has the effective lead of this race. He's about a second up on Blake Reynolds.
Talent in the wall.
Harrison bounces off the fence. Keeps it going. Matthew Weeks might have been one of the cars that stayed on the race, or that pitted on that second yellow flag. So I think Matthew Weeks has a little bit more fuel than everybody else, but he's hemorrhaging so much time on that tire difference. I just don't think, even if we go green from here and as fast as he is, I just don't think it's something he's going to be able to make up.
Hit it on lap 14.
It'll be very interesting to see how this strategy works out for him. If there's somebody who can make it work, it is a guy like Matthew Weeks, who is one of the best when it comes to long run green flag racing here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series.
He's very, very good on these long runs, is Matthew Weeks, but I think he does get himself into trouble when he lets the other drivers get a undercut on him, and then he's trying to fight through traffic with the new tires, as opposed to, you know, making up the ground up to third or fourth like he did right there, and then pitting with the race leaders and staying on their strategy. Even though you're not on necessarily needing that strategy, he could be right in the tire tracks of Tyler Fode and Blake Reynolds right now, continuing to make time up. But as it stands, he's going to be well back, like, 8, 9, 10 seconds back, and hoping to make all that up in just 54 laps. He's also hoping for the yellow, and that might change everything. We might get it. Like, here comes Jonathan.
There's a lot of, and there's we've got the 3 wide at the top of the screen. You had Gerald Campbell bouncing off the wall right in front of Harrison Town, a couple of guys who have been really struggling at the moment in the bottom screen. So, he might get it.
Everybody who stayed on the racetrack right now is hoping for a yellow flag. Everybody who's pitted is hoping this thing cycles through, and they're able to stay green for as long as possible. Tyler Fode is the first car 1 lap down as Michael Hosak hits pit road. So Fode is okay, I think. He probably would not want a yellow flag until he is able to clear past the race leader, Matthew Weeks, but he's pretty well back of Matthew Weeks right now on the racetrack. And Weeks is in the center of turn 3. Fode is just now entering turn 3. I think that you're going to want this to go green and cycle through. If you're Tyler Fode right now, you don't want to be trapped a lap down. Josh Adams comes down pit road.
Daniel Gore.
But Daniel Gore heads down pit road here, lap 83. I'm very interested to see what these guys with 10 laps on their tires versus the rest of these guys are going to be able to do. That's a decently significant tire advantage. The guy who's, I think, in the best spot, obviously, is Matthew Weeks compared to the rest of the field. Ryan Gable's 1.6 seconds behind him. Everybody else is 3+ back. I just don't think you're going to be able to make up 3 seconds on top of the undercut that the guys in front of you have made up. But we'll see.
We will see.
Blake Reynolds is running Tyler Fode down in this traffic. Fode's car, I think, is really, really good in clean air, but there's no clean air to be found right now.
Oh, he's in a really bad spot here. He went high of Rawls, but the door's closed. There's Gibson. I don't know how I mean, they were 4 wide at one point.
Tyler Fode now is just in front of Blake Reynolds. Reynolds right on the back bumper of Tyler Fode. And even though Fode was strong on the later portion of the run last time through, Reynolds was not this close. Oh, Blake's loose off turn 2. And Blake Reynolds is going to yield that spot to Tyler Fode. So Fode able to kind of clear away with the de facto lead, and Fode has now unlapped himself as Weeks hits pit road. Ryan Gable is down pit road, and Seth Rawls takes over the race lead and now heads for pit road himself.
I think Seth Rawls may have been somebody.
He's good. He's good.
He's not showing a black flag. I think he got down.
Holy cow.
That could have been speeding. He had the right front fully locked up. Trey Holmes takes over the race lead. The Racimus father and son duo in second and third. Frank Fode back up to fourth. Michael Goodman's in the top 10, but right in front of Garrison Hogan. Hogan has to change lanes to avoid Michael Goodman. Goody is trying to keep this car out there on the older tires, but it might be time to bring it down for fresh rubber, Goody. Holmes down pit road. Jaden Racimus takes over the race lead. Jaden is just in front of Jesse. And we got both Racimuses on the top of the scoring pylon here. It's a pretty cool moment. 2 different father and son duos in this field tonight. Yep. Between Tyler and Frank, Jaden and Jesse. I love that. I think we always talk about Jaden and Jesse both at the wall at the same time, and Jesse's going to go take the lead over at the line here.
That's not how you want the connection to work, but
Yep. Frank Fode down and away on pit road. Just 6 cars still out on the racetrack. One of those is Gerald Campbell.
Zach, quiet.
I didn't do it. That wasn't me.
6 to 7 cars remaining. Brent Jones, the final one of those. Jesse
no!
and Jesse and Seth Rawls sideways. Can Racimus? He can. Rawls also able to keep it straight. We will stay green. A couple of massive saves to keep this race under green flag conditions by Jesse Racimus and Seth Rawls. Rawls, I'm certain, is none too pleased. Now, didn't those two have contact at Atlanta?
Maybe.
I don't think there was any malicious intent by either of those contacts. It just seemed like Seth running up on the slower car with a lot of speed. But a really good save by Jesse and a good save by Seth down in the grass. Jaden continues to lead. He also continues to hemorrhage time. He's now going to be a lap plus down once he makes his pit stop. By the way, Matthew Weeks is 10 seconds behind Tyler Fode as we race right now. I think he is going to be running short on time despite running about a 2 to 3 tenths faster per lap than Tyler Fode. Harrison Talon has taken over the race lead. I have to mention it because you mentioned his good qualifying effort. He has stayed on the racetrack to inherit this race lead, but if Harrison Talon is out there leading a race, I want to call attention to it because that guy has been around for a really long time, just about as long as I've been here, and doesn't always get flowers and hasn't done a whole lot of winning, especially in this league, but good to see him having a nice run up here, taking that pit strategy to the lead is 3 wide between Daniel Gore, Sean Judson, and Caleb Pecuma on the top of the screen.
Oh.
This could be treacherous right here.
This is really tricky here.
Sean is up there with nowhere to go, trying to get around Goody.
I think by the time Michael Goodman gets to pit road, they're going to cut open the tires and count the rings on the inside to find out how old they are.
Jesse Racimus is going to take the race lead over here. Goody is finally headed to pit road, as is Harrison Talon. Did Harry make it?
He did.
Without a penalty, he did. Harry gets down to pit road speed. That turns the race over to Jesse Racines and Brent Jones. Tyler Fode is currently in third. He's got a
Speeding.
0.4 of a second lead. And we did finally get a speeding penalty.
Rasimus.
Jaden Racines is the first car to get a speeding penalty that I saw. I didn't see another one. I did see a unsafe pit exit for Gilberto. That was it. So Tyler Fode and Blake Reynolds is the battle for the de facto race lead once Jesse Racines and Brent Jones come down pit road. And Gerald Campbell's got fresh tires. You'll see what that advantage looks like as Campbell goes to unlap himself around Tyler Fode. Yeah, it wasn't even close, but Gerald has now unlapped himself to the tail end of the lead
Speeding.
lap, so he's got a long way to go.
The other Rasimus. Oh, no.
Again, not how you want to do the father-son thing.
No, Jesse's got a meatball.
Oh,
Does he?
flat
I see
tire?
a black. Actually, you're right.
There was a meatball. Yeah, I had a meatball on my end, and that is now cleared. So it may have been a flat tire for Jesse Racines.
Oh, actually, hold on. I see both. He got a black flag and a meatball, but they've both been cleared.
Brent Jones down pit road, and that will cycle the lead officially over to Tyler Fode, who does have a now 0.2 of a second advantage over Blake Reynolds. Justin Wadsworth is third. He's about 3 seconds behind Jonathan Cutlip in fourth. Scott Crump fifth. Matthew Weeks has closed up a second of that 10-second gap I mentioned previously. He's still 9 seconds back in sixth place. Just math. 40 laps to go.
And there's your tire differences that we're going to be looking at here. Obviously, the two up front have a cushion at the moment, but they also have 3 lap older tires than third through sixth, and then it will be, or third through fifth rather, and then sixth, seventh, eighth have that overcut where they'll be coming from behind, hoping to eat into that gap. And you can see they are 8-9 seconds back at the moment, but should theoretically be turning the fastest laps of these leaders.
You want to know something?
I don't.
No,
but go ahead.
last lap, Tyler Fode was faster than Matthew Weeks.
Well, that's not what your hopes and dreams are made of, for sure.
No, it's not. No, we talk about it a lot. The overcut is typically the stronger strategy. The undercut is typically the stronger strategy in this next gen car because that clean air is so efficient at helping the handling of the car. You can see. I mean, he was a tenth slower than Tyler Fode last time around. I just think Matthew Weeks used pit strategy a little bit to get himself up into position to get third, I think is where he was when he bounced off the wall. In my book, once that happens, you just have to cut your losses. Once those guys hit pit road, just go down with them. Stay on their strategy because you're already there and you are one of the fastest drivers in this league. Go stick with them. You'll be okay. I think the damage is hurting him. But if he were able to maybe stay in their wake, stay in the
Carlin
draft.
just likes coloring.
Wants to give us the visual?
Within the lines, yeah.
But the damage is present on this 11 car. Blake Reynolds has continued to stalk Tyler Fode up at the front of the field here.
Zach, I think your best friend Ty made a 6-7 joke in the chat.
Maybe he did.
You guys want to go through the field?
Let's do it. Here's the battle for the lead. I would probably suggest we stay here at least for a little bit because they have been pretty close together, but Tyler Fode's led a significant portion of this race, and there's his main competitor just behind Blake Reynolds in second spot. Two of them have stayed nose to tail for the majority of this run. Fode hasn't been able to get away at all. But what we saw is Reynolds bounced it off the fence. Justin Wadsworth sitting there in third on the bottom of your screen. He has had a really good run tonight. Drove up through the field from 16th to third in the first stage. I think that's a car that could certainly contend for the win if the front two collide. Jonathan Cutlip up from 29th starting spot to 4th right now. If he didn't have that poor qualifying effort, I feel like this 5 car might be one of the contenders for the race win. But as it stands, it'll be a good solid points day, barring any sort of crazy shenanigans. Scott Crump sitting in 5th. 2-time winner this season, having a good run, but maybe not a great one. Hopefully it's one of those races where you feel disappointed that you wound up P5. We've talked quite a bit about Matthew Weeks understanding the strategy call. As it stands, he is still 8.8 seconds back of the race leader, Tyler Fode. That strategy not paying off the dividends that he was hoping it would. Ryan Gable sitting in 7th, having a very nice run coming off of his race win last night. And there's the yellow flag. I mentioned the shenanigans. There they are. Oh, and it was Scott Crump.
So we had 2 incidents, or we had one other incident before this. We had Jaden Razames crashing, but let's take a look at the Scott Crump crash first.
He got loose in turn 3, wiggled, and came back up on the track there. He no longer, in my opinion, would be disappointed with it.
No, this will change your outlook in a heartbeat.
That's not what you want. I think that'll bring everybody down pit road for 4 fresh tires. Here's Jaden Racines, who I'm seeing he dropped due to a connection loss.
Yeah, that looks like he had an issue and pulled off the racing surface, which is exactly what you want to do in that kind of situation if you know it's a significant issue.
We also had Sean Judson drop due to a connection loss, same issue that plagued Ray Bracey early in the event.
Yeah, this completely changes the outlook. I believe you're right. We're gonna see everybody on the lead lap come down pit road here.
And I think you have to take 4 tires also. I think if you take 2 tires, you are going to hurt your chances and other people's chances of having a good run here. There are too many laps on these tires on those left sides. You're talking 20 laps for the guys who pitted late and 30 to 40 for those guys who pitted at lap 70.
Well, not only that, but that's one of those things you do if a fixed setup car is running a little on the snug side. Everything we've heard, that's not the problem tonight. You do not want to make this car any looser than it already is.
Ryan Gable did not want to adhere to that. He takes 2 tires.
Ryan Gable thinks I'm a dummy, and that's fine. But
Ryan Gable, I think Vandermarl may also have put 2 tires on it in the 54.
No.
Who stayed out, Carlos?
31, Gerald Campbell, Do Good Motorsports stayed out. The only one I'm seeing under 14 seconds is Ryan Gable. Everyone else is 14 seconds and above.
So good stop then for Justin Vandermarl. Gerald Campbell staying out. That's interesting. He was one of the last cars to pit road. He may only have like 8 to 10 laps on the tires, but I just think that's still too many. I think he'll just plummet through the field here.
It's one thing to be able to manage an 8 to 10 lap tire difference if you have Tyler Fode pace, as we saw at times when he was running quicker laps than Matthew Weeks on that long green flag run. Respectfully, obviously Gerald Campbell, a former series champion, but he has not had Tyler Fode pace tonight.
Guys, I'm going to quickly do one last ad read. I know we're 1 to green, but I want to thank our other Premier Series sponsor, Worldwide Technology Raceway. They are a motorsports racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of the St. Louis, Missouri, close to the Gateway Arc. It features a 1.25-mile oval that hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the Craftsman Truck Series, and the NTT IndyCar Series. It has a 2-mile infield road course used by the Speed Tour Trans Am, the SCCA, and the Porsche Club of America. It has a 1/4-mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip that hosts the annual NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series, Midwest Nationals events, and the Kartplex, a state-of-the-art karting facility. Guys, we're going to have a fun one here.
Sure will. About 27 laps to go, 26 when we hit the the start-finish line next time. Gerald Campbell will be the race leader on about 10 to 15 lap older tires. You have Ryan Gable outside with 2 tires. Everybody behind them is on a set of 4 sticker tires. This is going to make things a bit chaotic. I think Fody and Reynolds will probably be okay. I am worried about the playoff drivers behind them. Pace car is off, Gerald.
To the inside of Ryan Gable off turn 2.
Yeah, that's probably true. Here we go. Pace car is off. Gerald Campbell through the loud pedal. We are racing again. Tyler Fody to the inside of Ryan Gable for second. Campbell out with the race lead, trying to cover both of these lanes. Hope for some chaos behind. Here comes Gable out of 2. He's kept it straight.
All right, we're good.
He handled all right. Here comes Ryan Gable looking for the race lead. Up the outside, it seems like that's not where the speed is here at this Kansas track right now. Ryan Gable up top, into the wall goes Gable. Here comes Tyler Fody through for second.
This has worked out better than I expected, but my bar was very low.
Yep, Gerald Campbell there. Brian Gable gets back to the right side of Blake Reynolds, able to drag that 66 back. Good run for Gable through turn 2, and now Gable back to third.
Gerald Campbell moving around on the backstretch, breaking
Ooh,
up
that didn't work.
like he's a... No,
It's over now.
That may have been just a tad too cute there from car 31.
Yeah, just a little bit. He was doing a good job keeping him in the tow. When he moved around, they got a little clean air on the corner entry. I think it gave him the big run on him and tightened him up. He didn't have the same entry line. Now he's in the dirty air, and that's going to hurt it.
Ryan Gable with the cut back underneath Blake Reynolds here.
Ryan's got that confidence. You get that race winner confidence in you, you can make anything work. And Ryan Gable's making it work right now with the two right side tires.
Ryan Gable's never been scared. Let's be clear about that.
That's true. That is not a driver that ever drives timidly. And here he goes to the outside lane. Caution's out.
No!
Big wreck. It's Frank Fody. It's Michael Hosack. Dusty Dewar in the wall.
Okay, you did it.
You did what?
The last car there, I was very concerned about for a second.
Yes. They did clear around Dusty. Dusty held the brakes. Did a good job.
Yes. Oh, it was. Dusty was perfectly still.
Oh my
goodness!
That's why. I don't know if that car can move now.
Goody's gonna go up and get a piece of the wall as well. Oh, we need to go a little further back here, Carlos, to see how this one kicked off. Oh, it's gonna be Frank.
Frank clipped the 24
Hosack.
car, who right hooked Dustin Dewar, and then Michael Goodman to finish off the do good. Parlay clipped the apron trying to miss the wreck, and then
That'll now be
the wall.
That'll be 4 South Shore cars involved in an incident tonight. 2 of the 3 do-good cars.
Oh, I mean
That's
that's
a good car didn't even start. What a bum.
Yep. Yeah, that guy probably had other important things to do. There goes Frank hard in the wall.
yeah,
And
no, that's not healthy.
We'll go see this. We'll go see the Goodman spin as well. Because Goody is going to get, I think he gets on the binders and the rear unloads and sends him head on to the fence. Right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep.
Can I just quickly talk about?
Oh, and he
how
got a
much-
piece of Kurt Gibson on the way down.
I love Goody, man. I told him I couldn't make it because I had to broadcast, and the Mad Lad put my race sponsor on the hood of his car. I love him.
And he drove it straight to the fence.
Just
But
like
he got
me.
the TV
Just like
time,
me.
and that's important.
It's the thought that
He's
counts,
just
right?
like me for real.
Worth noting. It's a tribute. Worth noting that Gerald Campbell did bring the 31 down pit road last time from 4th. So
I can almost hear Carlos screaming on the radio. It's like he's here.
Frank does get the tally there. You know, all this carnage is going to work in the favor of a couple of guys.
Tell me more.
One is Ethan Stanley, who is up to 12th. Another is going to be Chad Frankenfield, believe it or not, who is now going to be 25th after being deep in the mid-30s for the majority of the race. He's going to be up to 25th, potentially taking advantage of all of this carnage to move forward and gain extra points. The final guy will be Seth Rawls, who is up to 11th after being involved in multiple fracases tonight.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this. This also kind of works out for Ryan Gable, right? Because now everybody around you has that heat cycle on those tires. They're not going to have that advantage, as much of an advantage as he did before. I still wonder if he's going to hit a cliff at some point with those left sides. But for now, I think you're pretty happy with that caution if you're Ryan Gable.
And he wasn't all that slow.
No.
You know, he was up there racing with Blake Reynolds and Tyler Footy for the race lead. I feel like it definitely has some speed in it with the two tires and the clean air. I think if you bury him in traffic, he'll struggle a little more, but if he can keep it in the top 2 or 3, he could keep it there. I didn't mention the other playoff driver in the top 15 right now that has taken an incident early in the race and parlayed it into much better points position thus far. That is Daniel Gore, who is running 13th. Or 15th, rather. Pace car is going to head down pit road. Tyler Fody, the leader. Ryan Gable, aforementioned, in second with the 2 right side tires. Blake Reynolds and Jonathan Cutlip there in row number 3. The 2 drivers racing for the championship last year at Vegas. There in that second row. Josh Adams up to 5th all of a sudden with Justin Wadsworth in 6th. Pace car is off. Fody on the loud pedal, and he will get going. Ryan Gable going to be kind of the blocking mechanism for Tyler Fody here at Kansas, and we'll see what Gable can do with those 2 right side tires.
Well, that's an interesting point you make there. Ryan Gable, not a playoff guy. So if he's not going to win the race, he sure can be a nuisance to some other people in this playoff picture right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you talk about that, and there's a level of that. I think Gable's going to race hard.
Oh, for sure.
But Gable's also looking for a podium, even if he can't get a race win. He would love, I think, to finish up ahead of a couple of these guys that are racing for the championship and say, hey, maybe if I was in the playoffs, I could have deserved. Oh, Jonathan Cutlip in the wall. Hard, big damage on the right front of Cutlip's car.
Yeah, you can see it there. I mean, he's managed to salvage some of the position there, but I think he's really got to be in trouble on the outside with that damage right now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of damage on the right front. Scott Crumps to the inside of Jonathan Cutlip right now. Reynolds clears Brian Gable up front. Justin Wadsworth to the inside of the 0-1, and you can see now that 0-1 starting to get a little evil on corner exit of turn 2. It might be time. You mentioned the cliff. He might be approaching it.
I can almost hear the Price is Right yodel music in the background.
Tyler Fody sets the fastest lap of the race pretty recently there with a really quick one. 3:57. That is a flyer. Worth noting, his fast time in qualifying was a 3:56 for Tyler Fody, and ran a 3:57 in the race. Oh, Scott Crump sideways again. Oh. Walking up the track is the 90. If that's a wreck, he'll get kicked from the race. He's able to save it. Scott Crump. That was, not only is that a really good save, that is a race-saving save. Crump would have been removed from the server with another incident caused, able to hold on to the 90 car, and while losing 10 or so spots, he's still able to get to race here the rest of the way, and he's still aggressive with it.
I don't know if the Goodyears are gonna love that. The Goodyears would probably like him to, take it easy a couple of laps.
Talking about Scott Crump, right? A bunch of people just busted off the fence in turn 2, or turn 4 rather.
Oh, 3 wide here.
Hogan restarted 19th, by the way. He is up to 10th. A heroic drive through the field for Garrison Hogan thus far. And he'll pull in behind Ethan Stanley up to 9th. That caution was an absolute godsend for Ethan Stanley to get back up into this race. Ooh. Oh, David Tooker just pounded the wall.
Yeah.
These guys tend to run it right on the edge on these corner exits where they can get up and get into the fence. Blake Reynolds also runs to that effect, and at times it hurts him, but if he can get the really good run off the corner, it really helps at times as well. And I don't know if it would be worth the risk for me personally, but these guys are finding that this next gen car, you can kind of bounce it off the wall a couple of times. That's okay. You can keep it. You can keep the speed in it. Speaking of right front damage, two guys who've encountered that in this race are nose to tail right now. Jonathan Cutlip dealing with it at the moment and falling off the back bumper of the Ryan Gable car, and Matthew Weeks, who spent extra time on pit road last time down to fix it. He's up in 7th right now in this 11, and if Weeks gets another yellow flag before the end of this race, I think he might yet have a chance to get up here and challenge for the win. But as it stands, he's challenging for a top 5 after a contact like that and then a pit call that didn't really pan out. So still a good day overall for the two-time champion. Ethan Stanley, after spinning that 91, he's just been battling it all race long, and you can see in this fight with Justin Vandermarl at 91, he is very timid on the throttle on these corner exit. He is not picking up that extra time if he's ever off the bottom of the racetrack.
No, you can tell it's just been a little bit of trepidation for Ethan Stanley, which, I mean, so far, I mean, he's really made the best of the situation and salvaged a decent finish if he can keep it right in this range here, just outside top 10.
They're wiggling and wobbling back there as here's a battle for third between Justin Wadsworth and Josh Adams. Adams working his way into the top 5. Really impressive run from the Shift Esports driver. He'd been quiet today, basically, I think, kind of outside the top 10 for a better part of the day, but with the track position and the restarts, he's been able to get that clean air, get the track position, and move up into the top 5, and now he's challenging for a podium spot. He got one last week, too, did Josh Adams, so a little momentum goes a long way. So here's Caleb Pecumer to the inside of Daniel Gore. Both of these cars have been sideways, slideways in this race tonight.
You know, they'd both be happy with where they're at right now without a top 10.
After being spun around, it really, like you mentioned, I think it changes your outlook, right? If you're able to bring it home with reasonable points, and they're 16th and 17th, I think both of them would have hoped for a little bit more entering the night, but right now, I mean, being able to recover to respectable is pretty useful, I would say. Humer's car still looks really fast. I mean, that's a car that qualified on the outside of the front row. There's definitely space in there for Caleb. And he's working over Trey Holmes right now.
Trying to get into what I believe would be the 15th spot. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next car.
Oh, that's Michael Goodman. Okay.
Next car up the road is David Tooker. One of those outside wall hits might have slowed this 19 car down a little bit, because he is starting to fade somewhat significantly. He's losing the spot to Justin Vandermarl right now for 14th, and Holmes and Pecumer are running up on them fairly quickly. Of this top group, the car that's on the move is Garrison Hogan. He just went around Paul Mikolajczyk. He is now challenging Matthew Weeks for the 7th position. And after restarting 19th, last time through, I think this is a spot where Garrison Hogan, like we mentioned, he'd be pretty thankful for the spot that he's in right now to pick up top 10 points and finish right there in the running order with his teammate.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is a tough spot for somebody like Ryan Gable, Josh Adams. You get Jonathan Cutlip battling here. Again, you're a racer. You want to get the best finish you possibly can. You want to race these guys hard, especially with 5 laps to go. Now's not the time to roll over. But there is the big picture, right? You don't want to be the guy that takes a top 5 away from a playoff guy and puts him 35th.
Yeah, no worries about making him 6th, right? As Ryan Gable does cut back underneath Jonathan Cutlip. I don't think there's any problem with racing the playoff guy, trying to finish in the top 5. It's a big spot to be, but you can't bounce it off the wall and take them both out, right? That's what you don't want to do, as Ryan Gable will now have to fall back to 7th spot as Matthew Weeks jumps up into 6th.
Yeah, I think that was a situation where once Ryan was in trouble, he realized what he had to do, whether he wanted to do it or not. And that was let those 2 guys by before he was our next caution.
So Gable will fall to 7th into the clutches of Garrison Hogan. Up front, it has been Tyler Fode for a majority of the race tonight. Fode has not won a race this season. He has been in position a couple of times this year, but it has not worked out for that driver of the 40 car. And after missing a couple of races early in the year and having some battles not go his way in the mid part of the season, he entered the playoffs with no wins. A win today with 2 laps to go, that would be that would feel pretty good. As Blake Reynolds loose. Almost. He's going to block. Oh, my goodness. Blake Reynolds just wads up Justin Wadsworth. Oh, no. Oh, Nikolai Schick's in it. The yellow flag is out.
Why we have... I might get fired for this.
And now Flake's in the wall.
That's why we can't have this. That's why we have to fix this problem.
That's what we should have been doing. That's what I would say. Race control through the yellow, and then Wadsworth, everybody's able to slow down and avoid Justin Wadsworth. There's 2 laps to go. You got to get the spots. And this car's broken. I mean, Justin Wadsworth was along for the ride. There was nothing he could have done.
Yeah, I don't think he realized it first until maybe right about there what kind of trouble he was in.
Yeah, I mean, it just starts hanging a left across the track in front of everybody, and that's 2 playoff drivers. And then Ethan Stanley's going to get a piece of this as well. 4 playoff drivers involved, from Blake Reynolds bouncing it off the fence and coming down in front of Justin Wadsworth there. Oh, man, that's pretty brutal.
Because, I mean, if you're Paul Mikulicek or Seth Ross there, you have no shot.
No, there's nothing you can do. You're not only are you see the trouble, but there are 2 laps to go, and the yellow flag is not out. You are wide open because you have to be. If you roll over, you lose a spot to that guy.
Yep.
You're just on board. I mean, you can see. I mean, those guys are coming. I mean, what do you do?
You can tell. I mean, you can even tell from the onboard. They saw what was happening and even tried to slow down. It doesn't matter. These cars do not stop on a dime.
Right.
And then, of course, Ethan Stanley ends up collecting Frank Fode after the fact as well. It looks like Fode might be in a little bit better shape than some of these other guys, but very frustrating situation.
Yeah. And all this from Blake Reynolds, I have a hard time believing Race Control will do anything but tally the 66 for this. It just... Wiggling down the track is one thing, but then Wadsworth was below him. I mean, at some point you've got to notice, hey, there's a car below me. I need to not keep coming down the track with it. And that's Blake Reynolds up there. That's a guy that I know has the car control. And a brilliant day for Justin Wadsworth, where he would have been rather comfortable on points entering Road America, and Talladega is now wiped out completely. The points for Paul Mikulicek will be effectively removed as well. He would have had a very good day. He will now be heavily impacted. I mentioned Wadsworth, obviously, but yeah, that's going to... Seth Rawls has damage, but he's stayed on the racetrack in 8th place, and there is the note that the tally will go to the 66, and I agree completely with the call. We'll see how the damage affects Seth Rawls and Ethan Stanley. I think the 2 of them did pick up a little bit, but they're in the top 10. They might as well stay out. It's not too bad.
Right. Give it a shot, understandably. If the wheel's still straight this late in the race, I think you have to ship it.
I agree. Advantage, of course, to a couple of guys further back that did not get caught up in that. Daniel Gore picking up some spots. Chad Frankenfield gains a few more spots. not what Tyler Fode wanted to see. Just as we were going to be able to wrap that thing up, talk about the race win. Now he's going to have to re-rack it and go again.
So is this going to be in overtime? Is that what we've got here?
This will be overtime, yes. We are
Okay.
past the scheduled distance. It will be a green-white checkered. If we get a caution before the white flag, we will re-rack, do it again. If these guys spin after the white flag, doesn't matter. The checkered flag will end the race. So Tyler Fode, Blake Reynolds, Josh Adams, Jonathan Cutlip, Matthew Weeks, the top 5. Here we go. Pace car is off. 2 laps to settle the Kansas 200. Tyler Fode into the restart zone. He fires off early, gets a pretty good jump, and he'll clear past Blake Reynolds. Jonathan Cutlip giving a really good push to Blake Reynolds, though, and that draft might be enough to get them up to Tyler Fode, but that clean air is going to be so strong here in turn 1. Here comes Ryan Gable way up to the outside lane. Three wide, almost bouncing off each other is Gable, Weeks, Hogan, Cutlip slows up. Here comes Matthew Weeks to the inside of Jonathan Cutlip. That would be contact between Cutlip and Gable. Gable into the wall. They'll stay straight. White flag is out for Tyler Fode ahead of Blake Reynolds and Josh Adams. They're 3 wide for 4th between Hogan, Weeks, and Jonathan Cutlip. Tyler Fode has a nice gap. He should be clear to set sail.
Oh.
Hogan to 4th. They're still 3 wide for 5th. Ethan Stanley working to the inside lane. Tyler Fode up front. He's got clean air. Tyler Fode's going to come off turn 4 and win the Kansas 200. The battles for 5th as Cutlip will clear Ethan Stanley. It'll be Fode, Reynolds, Adams, Hogan, Cutlip.
Gable's in the grass. He saved it.
Finished 10th in the grass. Tyler Fode picks up win number 1 on the 2025 B season, locks himself into the round of 10, and a little unnecessary would be that restart in, I think, all of our opinions. There it is, a dominant performance from Tyler Fode. He was the fastest car through and through just about all race long.
I mean, you talk about. I mean, this is for by Tyler Fode standards, going the first 11 races of the season without a win. Huge drought for him. So, but it's playoff time. He's picked up that win. He doesn't have to worry about winning at Road America or Talladega. You will see him in the round of 10 starting November 12th at Nashville Superspeedway.
That'll be a good one. Obviously, good points days for Blake Reynolds, Garrison Hogan, Cutlip, Stanley, Matthew Weeks, David Tooker, Scott Crump, all in the top 10 with those playoff drivers. I think everybody after them will be, I think, going to have some trouble come next week at Road America, trying to make up points. So let's go ahead and start interviews. We've got Josh Adams in the waiting room. We'll bring him up and talk to him for the second week in a row. Josh, between us, I wasn't really expecting to talk to you tonight, but you had a really, really strong run tonight. You were very consistent and able to make your way through all the chaos and carnage at the end to take home third. Take us through your night.
Yeah, it was nice. Some of them guys self-eliminated pretty early when the race looked like it was going to be just kind of a crapshoot, and missed all of that, and then found out through that long run that took us to 30 to go or whatever it was through the green flag pit stop cycle that I actually had pretty good speed, so it was good to have for once.
So it was a little bit of a surprise to you as well, I'm gathering, based on that conversation there. At what point did you realize, wow, maybe I've got something for these guys?
I think it was the point when we had 3 different tire cycles on the first run, and we had the guys up front that hadn't pitted yet, and then there was a couple of guys that got around me that did like the middle pit, and I did the first pit, and I came back up and passed some of the guys that did the middle pit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty good just hooking the bottom, and I found out I could just pretty much charge turn 3 really, and it had a lot of grip down there, so I just kind of kept doing that, and kind of surprised me.
Josh, obviously 2 podiums in a row. A little too late to worry about the championship, but how does this set you up for success the rest of the season and into next season, where you could potentially make a chase berth?
Yeah, I mean, it sets up good. I'm just glad to finally have a couple of good finishes in a row. Especially in a race that I qualified like 28th or something. Usually when I qualify poorly, it ends poorly just because you kind of end up in the soup back there and can never even get a good run out of it. But kept the nose clean and actually turned it into a good run for once.
And before I let you go, Josh, who do you have to thank on this third place finish tonight?
Oh yeah, just all the guys at Juicy Spider. I know they're probably watching. Some of them that may not be. They're in another race. They'll watch at some point. Good to finally get them on the podium again in this series, not just on a super speedway. Shift Esports, my teammates Seth and Gilberto. Seth ran a really good race tonight. He didn't quite get the top 10 he deserved. Seth Rawls designs for the paint scheme, High Side Podcast, and you guys doing the broadcast. Like I said last week, I'll go back and watch it because this one ran good in. So a lot of thanks.
Well, thanks, Josh, and congrats on the really good run, man. And we'll catch you next week.
Thank you,
Josh Adams. That's E3. Let's grab the runner-up finisher and talk to Blake Reynolds here. And Blake, looked like you had a really strong start, but things unraveled a little bit there at the end of the race, and then you were able to salvage P2. Take me through your night. Blake, you there? This will be a short interview, Zach.
There we go, finally.
There he is.
Yeah, Discord, man. AWS, fix your crap. I almost said another word. Yeah, sorry, y'all. I'm here. What's up?
Well, Blake, good run. It's up to P2. Take me through the night. Obviously, it started really strong, but it seemed like you just couldn't quite get back by that 40 car.
Yeah, another, just like Gateway, I led the start, and I got to the lead, and after the stage, I just, or actually this time it was before the stage. One mistake. I missed a shift off of 2 on that restart where we finally went green, and that's how Fody got beside me, and he side drafted me and got the run off of 4. And yeah, I could not get even close to him at all. That's just the way this car is now. It's unfortunate. If you ran any other line than the bottom, the tires would instantly air fry themselves. You couldn't do anything. So you were really just committed to the bottom. Right before that second to last caution, I think it was lap 104, 105, something like that. I finally got close, and I think if it had gone green, maybe, just maybe, I had a little bit more tire. But unfortunately, it's just not how it is. So we got a caution. Went green again for 20 laps, and then yeah, I was trying, the last 5 laps or so before the green-white checkered. I was just trying other lines to see what, if I could make any ground. And unfortunately, I made a mistake out of 4. And we're in the playoffs. You have to be aggressive. You got to fight for every point. And Wadzi went to the inside, and I chopped his nose and just wrecked him. So I apologized. I don't know if he accepts it or not. We'll see. Time will tell. Unfortunate for that, and then green white checkered, and then I couldn't do anything after that. Just mistimed the restart. So it's a P2 on the night, David.
Either one's fine. You talk about the P2, but certainly also the incident there at the end. Do you foresee that becoming an issue as we move forward with this playoff going into Road America or Talladega or later on?
Probably. It's just is how it is. I don't make it easy on myself. I really don't try to race dirty. I just try to be aggressive and place my car never 2 moves or 3 moves. You do it right in 1 move. I just try to do it right in 1 move, and unfortunately, I tried to line up our bumpers flush when we were going to make contact, and we were just a little off, and it shot his car up the track. So Apologies to him again. He was probably gonna have a solid night. I don't even know where he finished. It doesn't matter. His car was exploded. So, yep. It just we'll probably see the what's the word? The repercussions of that down the line.
And Road America next week here for the playoffs. Obviously, you're former winner of the road course race this season. Being able to put tonight behind you, how do you approach a road course after all that?
I mean, there's no dirty air. That's nice. You can actually close the gap if you want to make contact. It would be cool if I could even get to the bumper of the guy, right, that I'm racing, but you can't at this track. So, Road America, I like Road America. In leagues like FTF in the past, even the Coke Series. Coke Series, I finished 8th here both times I raced here. And only 25-something seconds behind Mitchell DeJong. I'd say that's pretty damn good. So, I look forward to it. Ethan Stanley's going to win, but maybe I can get P2.
Before we let you go, Blake, who do you have to thank on this runner-up finish?
That'd be Channel 199 Sim Racing, our wonderful sponsor in Track Racer Simulation. Drink Machine Works, personal sponsor of mine. JD Designs for getting my playoff banners, and Splash and Go Graphics for my main paint scheme here at the Track Racer Toyota, and then the Drink Machine Works Toyota that you see at the night races I run. You guys for putting this on, Chad and all the admins for putting this on. It's a good championship, and I'm enjoying my time here in the Cup Series and Monday nights in the GNS Series.
Awesome. Well, congrats on P2, Blake, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. See y'all.
Blake Reynolds, P2. Let's grab, for the first time this year as a race winner, Tyler Fody. And Tyler, first off, congrats on the race win. Second off, a dominant night from you. It seemed like there really wasn't a whole lot of challenge, but take me through the stress of those final couple of restarts.
Yeah, there was, dude. God, that whole race, man, it was stressful. It didn't look like it probably, but Blake kept me honest the whole run, the whole race, really. Just being within a second there, that takes a toll on you for sure, having to try and keep that pace. Just having to hit my marks pretty much every lap, even the pit stops under caution, everything, just trying to make sure we had the lead there. Dirty air was a factor, obviously, but it was nice to be able to kind of move up and down the track a little bit, be in Kansas. But yeah, God, I don't know. I was most of it's a blur, but we were driving as hard as we could there, and taking it 2 to go, and I couldn't believe what I saw in my mirror with them wrecking after 2 to go. I was thinking just one more lap, but that had me worried for the last restart, but we got a good jump there, and we're able to bring it home, so super stoked.
I mean, how big is, I mean, you talk about being stoked, how big is this win for you? Not just from, obviously, not having to deal with, potential issues at Talladega or anything like that, knowing you'll be in the next round, but just getting that monkey off your back and getting a win this season.
Yeah, I tell you, it's not for a lack of trying. I mean, every race this season, it's like, I felt like we've been close in a good amount of them, but when you got guys like Blake and Novak and Cutlip even lately, and Stanley, it's like, geez, like, these are hard to come by. So, huge relief there. Got the stage win also, just trying to stack up some points at this point, and just try and have a good buffer for the next round, because I'm sure it's going to be awfully close.
And, with Talladega in this round, obviously, Road America, we have a select few who may win that one, but you've got, some teammates in this playoff with really good chances. And, obviously, especially with, some guys having really bad trouble today with that desperation, how do you as a team manage that teamwork that's going to be required at a place like Talladega?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's just me and Scott this season. Gavel just missing last week, but yeah, I don't even know how Scott ended up, but hopefully, okay, yeah. So he had a solid buffer with his wins earlier in the year, so I think he should be good. Run top 10, probably road course, and then just kind of survive Dega. I think it'll be more of a fun race, honestly, at that point, if Scott's got a good buffer, just to kind of go out there and try and win it and see what we can do with everybody. But yeah, after that, it's going to get real competitive and real close, I think, for the second round. So we're just going to have to be on it.
And before we let you go, Tyler, who do you have to thank on this win tonight?
Yeah, all the Lake Norman guys here tonight. My God, going back to qualifying, talk about a shocker. I thought I was ripping the wheel for qualifying, and then come to find out, Caleb and my dad out-qualified me, so that was unbelievable to see, but super stoked for him. And if it hadn't been for Chad, we might have had the greatest front row the Cup Series has ever seen start a race. So that was pretty cool to see. Shout out to those guys. Obviously, Caleb ran a really strong opening bit of that race there, had the pace and unforced errors there. But yeah, I mean, those guys, Crump, Gavel, everyone really, for making these nights fun and running with them, sharing notes. Also Cutlip with JD Designs for painting our schemes, and then you guys up here for doing the cameras and the commentary. Always fun to watch these back. So we'll hopefully be talking to y'all maybe next week, if barring a miracle, but I plan to run top 5, so maybe we'll be back talking to you at Dega. We'll see.
Sounds good, buddy. Well, congrats on the win, and hopefully you're able to, string a few together after this one, since it's been a minute since you were in victory lane in the Cup Series.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It is race winner Tyler Fody, and fellas, that was the Kansas 200. Zach, any final thoughts after an eventful night?
Boy, eventful night for sure. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes up the playoff standings. Certainly those guys who finished in the top 10, you see 8 of our top 10 were playoff drivers. They're going to be feeling pretty good about tonight. The rest will be eagerly awaiting the playoff standings update to see if they are above or below that cutoff going into Road America next weekend, where you and James Watson, I'm sure, will be treated to a fine. It's funny, David, when I first started subbing for Gerald off and on, it always seemed to fall on the road course races, and now that it's now that we're the full-time booth, I keep missing the road course races. It's very odd. But you and James Watson will have everybody in good hands for that one next week. It'll be very interesting to see. Does anybody have an answer for Ethan Stanley? Blake Reynolds says he doesn't, but I mean, he won at Red Bull Ring. If anybody should have some confidence about putting the fight to Ethan Stanley, it would be him. We will see how it plays out in Road America in 1 week's time.
Yeah, I think the biggest competitor for Ethan Stanley might be his own internet. His own connection.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
Oh.
That seems to be an issue across the board in the sim racing universe right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is Harrison Peruvian,
older,
or is he just trolling?
So, he is just trolling.
Okay.
But that for
you're asking that about the guy who drives for KFB, the GOAT Motorsports, Carlos.
For all of us here at the Elite Racing Network, that was the Belly Up Sports Cup Series first round playoff event at Kansas. The Kansas 200. Catch us next week for Road America, and we'll see you all then. Good night.